Today's podcast is a rebroadcast of the previous episode's editorial segment. Welcome to the Chaplain's Corner After Hours, a place to discuss world events which impact our Christian walk and our spiritual journey, and where sometimes these discussions have sharp edges. And now for our editorial segment, let's head down into the Chaplain's secret secure bunker, hidden deep below the rolling hills of northwest Alabama. Are all doors secure?
Yes, sir, and perimeter security is activated.
Well, you can't be too careful these days. But let's go back to our lead story and see if we can find something instructive, something redeeming, and something hopeful about this very sad story from Indiana. Now, the story from National Catholic Register didn't have a lot of details. And so going to the Becket Fund website and looking up the case summary for Mary and Jeremy Cox, we can find a lot more information about what's going on. The first thing noted in the case file is Mary and Jeremy Cox are a faithful Catholic couple. It was in 2019 that their son left them a note informing them that he identified as a girl. The Coxes believed he needed help for underlying mental health concerns, including an eating disorder. During this time, Mary and Jeremy spoke to their son about their religious beliefs regarding sexuality. In 2021, Indiana investigated Mary and Jeremy following a complaint that they were not referring to their child by his preferred gender identity. The reporting source, whom we don't know who that is or what that is, falsely claimed that the parents were neglecting and verbally abusing their child. At the initial trial court hearing, Indiana officials argued the child should be in a home where she is, remember this is a boy, she is accepted for who she is. Where did the trial court get that? The court restricted Mary and Jeremy's visitation time and barred them from speaking to their child about their religious views on human sexuality and gender identity. On what basis did the court do that? It certainly wasn't the U.S. Constitution. After completing its investigation, this just gets better. Indiana made an about face and abandoned all allegations against Mary and Jeremy. State officials then surprised the parents by pointing to the disagreement over gender as the sole reason to keep him away from his parents. Again, what was the basis for that? Almost 2 years after Indiana removed their child from their home, Mary and Jeremy had no other option but to ask the Supreme Court to step in. On February 15, 2024, Becket and attorney Joshua Hirschberger filed a reply brief at the court asking the justices to protect the parents and others from government interference in raising their children. Well, this brings up a few thoughts. The first thing is, the very first thing is what is initially said in the court brief, that Mary and Jeremy are faithful Catholics. Now, in the Roman Catholic Church, this strongly implies that they go to church every Sunday. It would also imply that they go to church on holy days of obligation, of which there are many besides Sundays. It would also imply that they probably go to confession from time to time. And certainly, being a faithful married couple, presumably in the Catholic Church, they take the sacraments at Mass routinely. They may even volunteer for various ministry duties at the church. And no doubt, they tithe or something, give some set of money to the church as a part of their devotion. So I have a question. And this is a question that the smart people, who apparently have no brains and no cojones, ought to ask. For example, where is their church in this? Where is their priest in all of this? If they have a deacon in the church, where is he in all of this? And for God's sake, where is their diocesan bishop in all of this? And what about the church elders? Have any of them stood up for Mary and Jeremy? Are these two faithful Catholics just hanging out there all on their own with this very serious issue, and the church has nothing to say about it? People, we got to get a grip on this. The Marxist left keeps on doing this to us because they do not fear us. And more importantly, they do not fear the living God. To continue along this path of appeasement invites more and more of this type of persecution. And as we know from history, this is only going to get worse. Now, I'm not in any way advocating some type of a Jesus moment where a disciple pulls out a sword and lops off somebody's ear. But we do need to show up where the demonic Marxists ply their craft against us, which these days is just about everywhere. Because when we show up, the Holy Spirit will be there. Where we show up, they will call us names. They will yell at us. They may throw stuff at us. They may strike us. And they for sure will threaten us. But remember Matthew chapter 10, verse 28. Do not fear those who kill the body, but cannot kill the soul. Rather, fear him who can destroy both soul and body. We need to show up where these people are at. We need to show up where our fellow Christians are being persecuted, in the schools, in the city council meetings, in the library meetings. Not to confront these Marxists, but rather to convict them. Because in their blind rage, they will destroy themselves. Or more to the point, the Holy Spirit will convict them and let them destroy themselves. The time to act is now. We can't sit back waiting for it to happen to somebody else. It's going to happen to us. And we have to use the tools that we have to act. Please recall in 2 Corinthians chapter 10, where Paul proclaims, though we walk in the flesh, we do not wage war according to the flesh. Our weapons are not of the flesh, but have divine power to destroy strongholds. The witness of the church, of the faithful, of the clergy, have divine power to destroy strongholds. All we have to do is to use the power which by God's grace we already have. Program notes for this episode can be found on the Chaplain's Corner After Hours YouTube channel. You can leave your comments on the Chaplain's Corner After Hours YouTube channel, Facebook, Rumble, or on X, formerly Twitter. Until next time, just remember, God's in charge, and we know how the story ends.